Without the blueprints, they can't build another one. You dogs are gonna get it now. I got something I want to drill into you, Guardians. It's a trap.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. And today I want to talk to you about the very first of this mega house, and it's a machine build machine Robo 01 rod drill. And what I want to say is today on Retro Wednesday, I want to take a look at this. We're going to compare it to vintage. We're going to compare all of the action toy ones that I've gotten my hands on for cheap and compare those to vintage and compare it to this, see how it all works out, transform this guy. But we're going to start out with building him, of course. Is he an awesome figure? Is he masterpiece worthy? All these questions will be answered coming up. Here's the packaging of this guy. It says Machine Build 01. I don't know how many they have planned. I wish I had more information on this line. I really do, because I would share every bit of it that I have. I'll tell you what I want to see though going forward. But the box is an alt mode on the back, actual product, and I believe actual product. And I kind of like that. A window box would have been cool, but you know what? They're trying to keep the price down. I think that's why it's machine build. And so with this, we're going to unbox it. I think I cut it open already just to see what's going on with it. And since it is a build, I'm just going to show how it comes. And it does come with all of this stuff here in this baggie the way it is. And then I'm going to take all this out here and trim it up. And then we have the unit separately over here. So let's snip this and get this guy out of here. And so we're gonna get all this out, and then I'm gonna show what's left, and then we're gonna clip the pieces off and put them together and all that kind of stuff. All right, so here he is right outside of the box. So take him out of the box. You have 4 different head attachment pieces. You have the shoulders. You have accents that you're gonna put into these accents will go into the shoulders. This goes into the legs. Then you have forearms and you have hands. So the assembly isn't really that big of a deal, but we're going to get into assembling this, and the shoulders are already cut off there, and then what we need to do is go to each one of these and just basically snip. And I've really worn these snips out, and just snip them off. And then you do that for all of these parts and pieces, and then it's that simple. I mean, these should just kind of come right off the sprue. And I don't know if this is a cost-saving measure or what's the point of it, but you do it for all of it. And then I don't really think that you need to watch me do all of this, but I guess I'll do like one of each piece, and then boom, you're gonna have leftover wasted plastic. I always thought about the way they made this. It seemed like they wasted a lot of plastic with all the sprues. I'm really worried about the small ones though. Let's see. Let's go at it from an angle here. Yeah, it's not that bad. But I do worry about the small ones. So it's been around, this technology, the sprue's been around for a long time. You do models or something, then you know everything about this. Here's the hands and all of that kind of stuff. You could just pop them off, but then you have sprue marks. So I don't know how much better snipping them versus just snapping them off would do for reducing sprue marks. And let's see here, the right one I snipped, and the left one I popped off, and I think they look the same. So snipping them. Now some people go as far as to shaving down every little piece. I'm not gonna be that guy, so when I get it all snipped off, we'll put it together. Alright, so in order to save some time and to look like I knew half of what I was doing here, I went ahead and assembled the first part of it. So here's what you look at. This is the shoulder, and you know it's the front because you have the 2 holes in it, and this is going to go to the shoulder. And then you just look and see which one of these matches up, and it's sort of like a pattern there. There's one for each side, but you know you got it right, A, if it fits on there, and B, if, I don't know, you can see this, but it's like a larger rectangle at the top and a small rectangle at the bottom. The shoulder just clips on here like that, and it has some movement to it, so that's pretty cool. Then you have this elbow piece, which you put in rounded side down. So you clip that on, rounded side down. Well, I don't know if you call it, it's like a decorative part right there. So the rounded side down so that you can, because it takes on the elbow. Now we have this part here, which is kind of cool because you can see, can you see? I'm worried about Manapetty here, but you've got like some grooves for the front of this that are going to match up to those grooves right there. And if you've got it wrong, it just won't go on. If you got it right, it goes on really easy. So the other thing is you have a slot right here that's going to be accepted right here. And so that's how you know you got the right one. And so that's nice and easy. So there's the arms. Getting into the legs, you have this blue piece, which it's hard to see, but you want the finished kind of angle piece to go to the top, and you're going to slot it in. And I know my fingers are in the way because it's such a tiny piece. Just wait till we get to the square, you won't see anything. But the square is really hard. This is not easy to put in. It's so tiny, and I'm worried about my Manapetty that I did not get this weekend because I was too busy road tripping. So no Manapetty at the $300 a weekend spa. Yeah, right. Let's see. It goes in like this. There it goes. And then this square, I'm probably going to do it off camera again like I did the other one, but it is really hard to do. There's a little round piece that goes into it, and let's see, I don't even know how well I got this on camera, but you got to get that in there. You probably could use a tool or something, but I'm afraid I'm going to snip that tool. This is the hardest part about this, is this blue piece, and then you got to have it in at the right angle too. And see, it's not straight, so I'm going to take my really long fingernails here and straighten it and then push it in real good. Okay, so that went okay. And then from here, since I've already snipped off all of the, well, this was already pre-snipped. This actually just connects right here, like that. And then you put, I don't know, pick a head, stick a head on him. That's nice and tight. Yeah, and there's articulation. There's a ball joint in it too. And then let's say we get a splayed hand put in there. Let's see how well this works. And then we'll put a fist with a thumb. And he's built. There he is. That's everything really to build this guy. That's the build series. And we're going to have a lot of extra parts we'll look at in just a second. So let's take a good look at this guy, and I think that he does look pretty decent. He looks the screw head part here, and this is more of the head for probably a head that you would say is for the Machine Robo versus the GOBOTS, and so let's pop that one out, and let's put in one that's closer to SCREWHEAD GOBOTS. Okay, there we go. So when we get to accessories, that's one less we have to do. So he has all plastic. I don't know if the silver stuff's painted, but it does look kind of shiny. And then I like how we do have all these different colors, and the color breakup is really good on him, so it looks pretty good there. With the part that's already there, we do have hip flaps in there and all of that. We do see the color that was down here. This, I think this red was painted on previously. When you first open this guy up, he does have these flaps, these covers, so you just need to fold them back over if you want to have that covered up, because it's not covered up on the vintage toy. I would have thought that these collapsed because they look like they would, and just collapse in to make his legs a little thinner, but they don't. So, but it looks like they would though. I mean, if you're looking at them, like, why would it build it like that and not have them collapse in? But they don't. So it's really, really thick. So that's the first negative I have, is the really, really thick lower legs. Would have liked them thinner. Would have liked them to collapse in one little collapse on each side, and that would have been great. But you know, it's okay because he looks real good from the front. And so let's go ahead and get into. We see some aesthetic. We'll see more aesthetic as we get into articulation with this guy. All right. So I did say the head is on the ball joint, and left and right, a little up and a little bit down, so you can get some stuff out of them. So not bad, not bad. Then shoulder goes out to about here, and you get the 360 on it, and you got to be careful. You can pop that off. It is a build series. You built it. You built it, you buy it. You break it, you built it, you buy it. Maybe I didn't have that snapped on all the way. Let's spin this one over here around. Yeah, I probably didn't have that one snapped on all the way because now I'm not really having any trouble. You do have, because of the transfer... Okay, well, never mind. It popped off. You do have a nice biceps... that's not biceps, it was a butterfly. So he can wield a sword, which he doesn't come with a sword. So anyway... but that's cool. And then out to here, you do have the bicep swivel. You have a 90 double jointed, so it's past the 90. But the extra pieces that add on take away from the articulation. And then the hands move ball jointed hands because they are ball joints, and so you can get some interesting poses, I'm sure, with this guy. So side to side, and he does have an ab crunch. That's cool too. And then you have a hip flaps, so it goes out to there, goes out to here, and you do have a thigh swivel, so that you're getting next level type of engineering on this. I think I forgot to show legs go out to about there. Can't quite do the splits. This guy, more or less in a way. I mean, it's simplistic. And then let's see, down to the feet, you do have a small ankle rocker, so you're not going to get crazy dynamic ankle rocker, and then front and back and down. Now his ankles are his weakest part, I think, and I really kind of thought the whole chunk of this giant leg would hold him up, but it's not. So that is kind of his weakest point. But as you can see, he's standing just fine right now till he falls down. All right, let's look at the rest of the accessories. He has a fist hand like I put on there that has, the other hand can be a fist with a thumb like a punch. And then these just look like super ultra GOBOT hands that are just barely molded any sort of lines for fingers. You got another splayed hand, so you can have two splayed hands, or you can have just the right one splayed for whatever reason. You have these two heads, which I do say they're painted well and they're nice and shiny and all that kind of stuff. I will definitely leave the GOBOTS one on there, which is the one he has right here. And then this one here is to look more accurate in alt mode, so we will take a look at that. We will see all of these heads again when it's in the alt mode, and that's it for accessories. He doesn't come with a weapon, unless his screw head is a weapon. Alright, so this is going to be a comparison to the original G1, or the vintage GOBOT. And what I want to do is kind of showcase the difference between these, do a transformation together, and then showcase the alt mode. And then I'm just going to do kind of a bot mode comparison to other GOBOT stuff, and that's going to be like a whole different kind of thing. So going a little out of order for a normal review. Now I want to say that this one has improved articulation and improved aesthetic. In my opinion, I think it does look a little bit more interesting than what we got going on over here. But I like the chrome more. So I missed the fact that we've got some chrome, back metallized chrome stuff going on this guy that we don't on this side. I like the size, although I would have still liked bigger. I mean, it can always be bigger, but with that, they look pretty good. Okay, let's do a quick side to side. As you do see, we do have a bump out, and they did kind of follow that, but this is an exaggerated bump out. I think I would have just been happier if this was just smaller. Even if they didn't make it fold in, if they could have just made it smaller all around, I'd have been fine with that. And then here we go with the back. And so one of the things you're going to notice is that the vintage one has wheels. This one doesn't have wheels. But we do carry over kind of some paint right here, which mine's rubbed off, but you've got paint right there. And some cool stuff going on. They did cover up the gaps on this one, and there's no gap coverage there. So there's some improvements on this overall. I mean, you got to understand it's a $55 figure. We're not looking at a $100 figure. We're not looking at Fans Toys. We're looking at a company I've never heard of before, Mega House, and it's their first foray into something like this that I know of. Alright, so transformation is exactly what I want in this, and it is just like the G1, more or less. There are some slight improvements to it, but you move the arms in. Obviously, with more articulation and stuff, then you would need to... let's see here. I think we can push this out. I don't really think it matters how you have these, but if you want to have these so you got a little bit more interesting look going on there, that's kind of cool. And then we're going to come around here and we're going to open up these flaps that we folded down earlier, and with that you have tabs that will tab into a slot, so this will hold itself together, which is kind of cool overall. Then we fold the feet down and we flip it around, which is, and you flip it around, make sure you're flipping it using that hinge, and flip it all the way around, And there we go. That's it. Is that right? Is that right? Is that it? Is that everything? It's very simplistic, and I'm not really too worried about it, but I am kind of comparing it to the picture, and it matches. Aside from, so it does show that you'd want to turn all the cool looking stuff to the inside and have the less cool looking stuff on the outside like this. So I'll leave one side one way, one side the other, so we can decide how we like it the most. But that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and slide over here and transform the G1. Transforms exactly the same way. You fold these in, and I'm really scared of chipping the chrome on this one. You fold the feet down and you flip it around. And you hear that? That scares me. I've broken a few GoBots lately. I think I'm going to do a GoBot week where we talk about everything GoBots that I've got, but literally everything GoBots made. And here we go. Let's get into a comparison. All right, so we saw the transformation. We see the difference between the vintage and the original, and as you can see, it is massively bigger, and that's what I want. It's still not Masterpiece scale, but when I get into comparisons with Masterpiece, I'm going to tell you why I think we're not really going to get Masterpiece scale GoBots. But with this, though, it does look pretty good in the alt mode. Now, I do see where the chrome does look superior. I would have liked to have had that. Back metallized chrome. This is a $50, $47 item. So, I don't know. Could they have put the chrome on it? Probably. Who knows? Maybe if they're successful with the first three, they can do a little bit more snazzy stuff with more ones going forward. But you're not going to have any chrome on like Leader 1 and all them kind of stuff. So, and didn't really have chrome in the cartoon. So, anyhow... but what do you like more? Do you like the leaving it to where you can see the extra stuff right there, or do you like seeing the boring side like that? I kind of prefer seeing the extra stuff right there, but the original one didn't have anything snazzy going on there. And with the screw hole there, it looks like it had some sort of weapon storage, but you didn't have a weapon. Real quick, we're going to take a quick look at all the screw heads. And so obviously you can pop this head off and you can put this screw piece on. Now this is supposed to make it look a lot more tune accurate, so if that's a thing that you want to do, you can do it. And I probably wouldn't. I just am happy with that. But here's another one that you put on, and one thing I want to say is this long screw head here, it doesn't have a face. That's why it's more accurate to it. And if they include little touches like that for every figure, I mean, I would know what they would do with Psykill and all that kind of stuff. And, small side note, Psykill's already sold out. It sold out right away. They put more pre-orders up for all of these, and then Psykill sold out again. This one looks a lot like the other one, so I don't really know the difference between these other than it's maybe a different... Oh yeah, one of these they have different mouths. That's the difference between those. So anyway, whichever one you want to put on there. Not really sure if I need to show Raw Drill going back to bot mode, but I guess... This feels like Legends, except when it comes to Legends, they're way more complex. I am very happy with Simplistic. I watched a few reviews, and this fell off of several people's, so it is definitely like a model kind of kit. So it needs to be handled like a model kit, kind of. So, anyway. Anyhow, we got all that flaps folded around. We got him back to his balt mode. It's not much, and this is exactly what we need. We need simplistic but enhanced articulation. Alright, so next to Action Toys, quick comparison. We're going to do a lot of comparisons real fast here, but this is the last hurrah of Action Toys before they kind of quit. They also made some sort of a big blue Stax looking truck, but this is what we got for Psykill. And we're supposed to be getting a much bigger, better Psykill from this company, but I wasn't impressed with this guy at all. But he's not trying to be Psykill, he's trying to be Bike Robo, and he's supposed to be small. So I really did compile some of these Action Toys ones that are a little bit bigger. I do want to show it next to the DX9's offering right here. So with this, this is DX9, this is Action Toys, and I don't have the one next Transbots did, but that one looks good, and it's maybe not great, but it's good. And so maybe that's the future of GoBots in Masterpiece scale, is X Transbots, maybe. Here's how it stacks up to the Action Toys blockhead. From what other people said, I haven't transformed any of these. I literally just took them out of boxes got them, took them out of the box, put them on the shelf. There's the G1. But they say that these are over complex for what they are, and I think that the direction that we're going to be seeing with this new company is going to be the correct direction. What I want to see Mega House do is just keep giving simplified sort of transformations and all that kind of stuff, but old, new. Here's how it scales with that version of Tank, the Action Toys Tank. And Tank's a bigger figure, so he's a pretty good size. The stability on these are a little wonky. So, anyhow, I think it'll work, but I don't like the blue. I like the darker blue. That's just me. Maybe that's just me, but anyhow. Hey, not a bad looking figure, but the alt mode looks weird though. Alright, here he is next to Buggy Man and the original vintage Buggy Man, and I gotta say that this dude is, he's got some stability issues. Now that I've messed with him, he's standing okay, but just overly engineered is definitely right, what people say about these, but I think the size for this new line, Buggy Man would fit. Here we go with Loco, and the thing I want to point out about Loco is the fact that this guy here looks pretty good, and he's nice and tall and thin and all that kind of stuff, but all these ones I picked up pretty cheap. Like, I'm not paying $100 for an Eagle Robo that looks terrible, or, you know, some of the other ones that people are charging way too much for. Some of the ones that I think still look pretty good, like Snoop, because this kind of reminds me of Snoop a little bit, but Snoop is too expensive. So maybe a cheap one will show up or not, or anything. But I'm not really worried on picking up any of the ones that this company's making, because I like the aesthetic that they're going for going forward. But these seem to match, though. Like, there's no chrome on this. These have die casts in them. I don't know where his is, though. I don't feel any die casts in this guy. But where's Turbo? Yeah, where's Turbo? Hasbro's Crasher is just a little bit too big, missing the aesthetic a bit, but close enough for now. I hope we get a Crasher, but I'm hearing, so here's what I'm hearing. If we get a Crasher in this line, it's going to be white, because that's like the Machine Robo color, I think. And so there's a couple of things that we're going to get. If we get them, they will not align with like GOBOTS. But I don't see why they couldn't just do a separate repaint. It just doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, there's the Crasher. For now, the stand-in. Here's a quick group shot of these guys, and it's almost like Psykill. The Psykill that come out is going to be bigger. It's going to fit better. I hope they have a face that looks like he needs to shave. But so I think this setup are figures from the Action Toys that will match aesthetically and size-wise with this new line. Here's how it scales with Legends with Magic Squares Prime 1.0 with a good paint job, and New Age's Grimlock, which is probably one of the bigger scale items New Age has made. So this is my look at the rod drill from this new company, or maybe it's an old company just making something that I'm paying attention to, with Mega House. And this is the Machine Build 01, and as you can see, not a lot of building to put this guy together. It took me maybe 6 minutes total to put it all together, but maybe 20 if you add in a lot of the just messing around with it before I actually got the work done, because I was doing it all during the review. Very decent figure for the price point. Is it masterpiece level? No. Is there die cast in it? No. Is it stable? It's not very stable. Does it look like the figure, like the character? Do you look at it and say that's Screwhead? Yeah, you do. You see that that's Screwhead. And would I want to see a masterpiece version for $100 down the road? Probably yes, but I don't think that even Screwhead is that big of a character. Trying to find some screen time for him for this video was hard, and so with that, that's where I think the problem is with GoBots, is that you might get 6, 8, 10 figures, characters, but after that, I think the sales just fall way off. And that's what I think happened to Action Toys. And I hope we go deeper. I'm pretty sure we'll get some of the good guys. Hopefully we get a Scooter out of the situation. Leader 1. Turbo, definitely need a Turbo. And hopefully they dial out characters we don't already have with the Action Toys. So I'm going to support this. I'm going to buy every one that they put out. Still available for order. I don't know if it's pre-order or just order, but you know, mine's in. It's here. 3 weeks ago I found out this thing existed, and here it is on my review table. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and Tide Hanger out.
How about a gonna teach that runt to listen.